Good. 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom! And we're live, Brian Redban. How you feeling, buddy?
I'm feeling great.
Feeling it in here?
I'm great.
Huh?
Sore butt. I love this new studio. It's so amazing. It's crazy how much stuff you're going to have in here.
It's going to be badass.
Yeah.
We're working on it. We're making it happen. Before we do this, I have to apologize. I have to apologize for something I said last Tuesday, in passing. We were watching a Corey Feldman clip, and Corey Feldman was doing this crazy dance, and Greg Fitzsimmons was in, and Corey Feldman had some little tight jacket on. It's this weird song he was singing. And I said that jacket, was he wearing that jacket when he was young and he got diddled? I was trying to make Greg laugh, right? You're trying to say fucked up things to make comedians laugh, which is what we do when we get together. We say the most heinous shit. But I felt terrible after somebody pointed it out. Like, I didn't even remember saying it. Someone pointed it out, and then Saturday I watched it. And I felt so terrible. Because the clip, especially like out of context, like it's just me laughing about him getting diddled.
Right.
And it's horrible.
Anything that's taken out of context like that's going to make you feel weird if you don't see that.
Yes, but there's no excuse. Like, what it was, you swing at a lot of pitches when you're doing live podcasts, and sometimes you hit yourself in the dick with a bat, and that's what I did. It was totally wrong. It wasn't funny. I took a swing. It was the wrong thing to do. It was the best way to describe it is, it was thoughtless. Because I really didn't think. I was just trying to say something fucked up to make Greg laugh. I wasn't thinking like this is a real person. And I watched him the other day in a movie, man. I saw him in Gremlins. I was watching Gremlins with my kids.
Yeah.
After actually we did the podcast. Before I watched the clip though, because I hadn't seen. You know, I do it and then I'm done with it. But I didn't think about it. I said, you know, first of all, he was doing the Michael Jackson thing. You know, he wears a Michael Jackson jacket and he dances like Michael Jackson. He said Michael Jackson didn't even do anything to him, so it didn't even make sense. It was just a stupid line to say. But I felt terrible. I couldn't sleep Saturday night. I felt really bad. I felt really bad. I felt bad for a bunch of reasons. One, I felt bad because it's a mean thing to say, and I didn't mean it to be, even though it was. It's just, I was just trying to be funny. You know, Patrice O'Neal said something once when he was defending Opie and Anthony. He was saying, when someone says something really funny, or the same person says something really fucked up, it all comes from the same place. Like, they're trying to do the same thing. They just miss, you know? But that was, without a doubt, the worst miss. The most embarrassing to me, the most depressing, the most, what's the best way to describe it? Just so disappointed that I did that. Because he was a kid, you know? I don't even think he actually got molested. I think he was actually saying that Corey Haim got molested and he didn't. Well,
that would make sense why Corey Haim did so much drugs, you know, if he did get molested, but...
Well, I started looking into this shit more and more recently, like Hollywood molestation with children. It's no joke, man. Like, just as it's no joke with sexual harassment and assault with women, what you see with this Harvey Weinstein thing, and these other directors now are getting in trouble for the same thing, the same kind of shit happened to a lot of kids that were involved in these child movies. You don't think about that when you're just trying to crack a joke. And I just want everybody to know, if you were disappointed, if you were disappointed in me, there's no way you were more disappointed in me than I'm disappointed in me. I didn't sleep Saturday. I had a hard time sleeping last night. I felt bad about it all day. I felt terrible. And I went to Underwood Farms. You know where Underwood Farms is?
Mm-mm.
It's a great family time. Had a good time with the kids. You know, we're picking out pumpkins and doing all this stuff. But the entire time I was there, there's like this blanket of like, how did I say that? Why did I say that? Like, sometimes you'll say something fucked up, and then after you did it, like, you can't believe you said it. Like, especially when we're doing this live, right? If you and me were just out at a diner, we would probably say that and laugh to each other because no one's getting hurt by it. We're just making each other laugh, and we do that all the time, right? We say
absolutely.
retarded shit to each other all the time. But when other people hear it, and then the guy hears it, like if Corey heard it, like it's just wrong. You know, I didn't mean to have that impact, and I didn't think about it. It was very thoughtless. So I was extremely disappointed in myself. But what's interesting about it, trying to like look at it from a different perspective, trying to like examine it, like the feeling of doing something that you shouldn't have done that might have hurt someone's feelings because you were senseless and thoughtless. That feeling is a terrible feeling. And it's weird, like it overcomes your whole day. Like, I don't think anybody knew because I was still having fun with the family and everybody was laughing. We did a lot of kid stuff. But at the end of the day, that was with me all day. I mean, it was like a fucking wet blanket that I was carrying with me, like a depression blanket. And there's no other way to put it than, you know, that I'm sorry and that I shouldn't have done it. But what I was thinking while it was all happening was like this feeling of letting a bunch of people down and hurting someone's feeling, doing something in a mass way, like on the internet. This is a new feeling. Like before, people could be upset at you, maybe it's someone you know or people you work with, and it's a bad feeling. But this is a different kind of bad feeling. It's an intensified bad feeling, especially like the way I did it, because it's so stupid. And I would think that at this age, I'm 50. I would see like I'm done saying stupid shit. Obviously, I'm not. You know, I'm not done. Like, that's the fucked up thing about being a person. It requires constant diligence. Like, you have to constantly pay attention to your thinking. You have to constantly pay attention to the way you behave and who you are. You can't just go off the cuff. And the other thing it's making me think of, you know, I'm doing this Sober October thing. And obviously, I love pot. And I've always loved pot. And I've been a regular pot smoker for 20 years. But there is a difference in my personality when I'm not smoking pot.
Grumpy?
More tense, less kind, and I have to like catch myself before, you know, I get upset about things. Whereas when I'm high, or if I not even if I'm high, but if I'm just smoking on a regular basis, I'm way more mellow, way more relaxed about things, and way more. I guess the right word is humble. It's not like I'm cocky when I'm sober, but I'm like really aware, much more aware of gratitude and fortune. Like I'm lucky and appreciative of my friends. I want to hug people more. Like pot has a lot of, for me, for my fucked up brain, has a lot of really positive effects. Has a lot of really positive personality effects. But I think I might be downplaying my dependence on it. Like I think I might have been going like, it's nothing. I'll just fucking quit pot. It's nothing. Man, I don't know about all that. My dreams. Here's another thing.
You remember them.
Dude, I don't just remember them. They're fucking crazy. They're all wolves and bears and drowning and falling off buildings and fucking lava coming at you. It's all primal shit.
Wow. It's
weird, man. I'm having all these predator dreams. It's very strange. Like I had these dreams, these almost cartoon wolves. They had these giant feet, and they were like running through the woods, and I'm somehow or another trying to get away from them. I had a dream that for some reason, I was crawling through some fucking cave, and there was an enormous bear inside this cave, and it was looking at me, and I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. And it was like trying to figure out whether or not the bear was gonna come after me. But I mean, super vivid. I don't remember my dreams when I was getting high, unless I took the Alpha Brain before I went to sleep. That will fucking spark you up some crazy lucid dreams. But other than that, I would just sleep good. I never had a problem sleeping. I'd get up in the morning and I'd be fine. But there is a big difference between me when I'm using pot and me when I'm not using pot. I'm noticing the same thing with Ari. I notice he gets a little more intense about things, a little more upset about things. He's fucking gets really mad at people on comments. He fucking fights with people online. They call him a welcher. Fuck you, I'm not a welcher. He's like super intense.
Have you switched anything? Have you done anything more since you've done this? Like, are you drinking more coffee every day?
No,
or are you?
Well, I'm doing so much goddamn yoga that because we have this hot yoga challenge. And the hot yoga challenge is you have to do 15 in a month. Well, my dumbass did 1 the first week and 2 the second week. So, yeah. So I've been on a rampage where I've done 8 straight days of yoga in a row as of today.
Wow.
Yeah, and I have 4 more to go. So
that's Tom's biggest problem. Tom's
got a week.
Yeah.
I got a week. Yeah, well, I have 4 to do though. I mean, I have until next Tuesday. So I could kill it on Thanksgiving. The 31st could be my last one, but I'm not going to do that. I'm banging them all out this week. We're doing it together for the first time. Ari, Tom, Bert, and I. We're doing it together. I don't want to say where, and I don't want to say when, because I don't want you fucking freaks showing up. But we're going to do it together one day this week.
You also, that's what Tom's biggest problem is. It's just he's so busy trying to fit in. You got him doing 90-minute hot yoga, which I thought was insane because they've never done it, right?
Right,
And
never.
90 minutes is a long time.
Well, I do it every week, but I usually only do it once or twice a week.
Right.
And now I've done 8 fucking days in a row as of today.
Insane.
It's rough. I'm shredded though, son. Ooh, getting shredded. My body, I'm burning off so many fucking calories. I actually had blood work done today, so I'm very interested to see what my mineral levels are like because I'm sweating out so much. And I'm not really supplementing minerals that much. I might have to do that. I do that on a regular basis, though. Like every 3 months, I get blood work done to see like where my nutrient levels are. And
I just found this company. I don't know if you've heard of it. I think it's called like Simply Well, and it's like they have all these DNA tests that you can do. So I ordered the testosterone test, but they also have allergy tests. They have all these tests, and they send it to you. You like spit in a vial, take some hair or something like that, and then it's kind of like 24andMe, where it's like the DNA testing, but they have it for everything, vitamin D deficiencies, and you could have it like on a subscription where you get it done they send you a new kit every 3 months to see if it's changed.
Nice. Testosterone
Yeah,
test,
that's what I got.
$69.
Just got it yesterday.
So to get off this Corey Feldman thing, just the end of the day, I just want to say that that I'm sorry, and if I disappointed anybody, I'm sorry too. I just when you comedians try to say fucked up things to each other. I was talking to Colin Quinn about this the other night. Colin was at the Comedy Store.
Oh shit!
And I told Colin and I were talking. I go, man, I miss Tough Crowd. He goes, oh, I miss it so much. He goes, but you know what? We could never fucking do it today. He goes, but you just think of the things that Patrice and Nick DiPaolo would say to each other. He's like, if you did that today, people would have riots. They would be protesting. They would try to have the show shut down. Comedy Central would freak out. People would get fired. I was like, you're probably right, but that was like the best show ever on Comedy Central. Next to the Chappelle Show. No, next to South Park. Okay. South Park #1, Chappelle Show #2, Tough Crowd #3.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I mean,
South Park's still going for
still
it.
Going for it.
They don't give even
They
the
don't
video
give a
game.
fuck.
They have this new video game. It's called Butthole.
Fractured butthole.
Fractured
yeah,
Butthole.
I saw that. I saw that.
But it's there's like a part where you're like these little boys and you're dressed up as strippers and you're in a strip club getting you're doing lap dances for guys. So you're on a guy's junk. And
so rude.
It's such a
So
great
rude.
game. So addicted.
So anyway, these moments where you fuck up, and these terrible feelings, like this is how I'm looking at it. I wish I could take it back, but I can't. Right? There's nothing you could do. And if people are mad at me now because of that, you're right. I'm not trying to make any excuses for myself. I shouldn't have said it. But when you do have these moments where you fuck up and you feel terrible, they're an amazing opportunity to grow. And I think people need to look at stuff like that this way, or at least I've been looking at stuff this way for the last like 10 years or so, and it's made a big impact in my life because I think regular change happens in like regular change and growth happens in like a grinding, slow sort of progress or progression. But when something fucked up happens, when you do something fucked up and you get that terrible feeling, you have this opportunity for these leaps of understanding. And these bad feelings that happen, it's a big alarm to let you know. And one of the things that I was thinking about is that human beings now, the way we interact with each other, like there's a lot of pressure now on people, like because all this call out culture, people are getting mad that people are doing dumb shit, like white girls wearing braids, cultural appropriation. They're going after, white guys wearing dreadlocks, and people are mad that people are dressing up like geishas, and they're calling them out. There's a lot of silliness to all this shit, but what's interesting about it is everyone is expressing their displeasure and pleasure of things. They're expressing their anger with things and their happiness with things at a level we've never seen before. And I think people that experience this, like if it makes sense, like it's one thing if somebody gets mad at you for something like, you shouldn't be wearing that blue hat, man. I'm in the Crips And, you know, we only support red hats. Or is it the Bloods?
I don't even know.
I think the Bloods. The Crips are blue, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, if someone gets mad at you for something that doesn't make any sense, that's stupid. But if someone gets mad at you for poking fun at someone being molested, that bad feeling is valid, right? And I think these bad feelings that like Donald Trump must feel 24/7. Like there's probably, I mean, I think part of the reason why he's so angry at people and bitter and barking at fake news, I think he feels like shit all day long. Because, you know, this guy checks his Twitter. You know, he does check. He reads his he's a fucking egomaniac, right? So he's paying attention to news shows that talk shit about him. He's paying attention to late night comedians that make jokes about him. He's paying attention to Saturday Night Live. He can't help himself. He's constantly commenting on it. And he hears all these people laughing at him and mocking him. And he hears all these people that think he's a terrible person. Like, I read his Twitter. When he'll put up a comment, he'll put up something on Twitter, and then I'll read the comments under it. And it's like, holy shit. People just go hard at him. You know that motherfucker reads that stuff. You know he does. And he's also involved in a lawsuit, several lawsuits now, where he's blocked people on Twitter. And they're questioning the constitutionality of someone being able to block someone from commenting within the president of the United States. I mean, this is a new way to communicate. You don't want to hear what people have to say because it's negative. Well, that's, you know, so people are questioning this in court. But I think that feeling that's hitting this guy, he might be too old for it, and he might not be ready for it. And he's got so many things wrong with him to begin with. You know, with the way he treats the world and his ego and the way he's the non-presidential and non-statesman-like behavior that people thought was cute when he was running for office, and now they see as a giant problem when he's threatening war with nuclear weapons with Korea and shit like that. But this thing is a new thing. This swarm of bad feeling and in return good feeling when something good happens is a new thing. And I think that it's going to shape the way human beings interact with each other in a really radical way. Because I don't think it's ever existed like this before.
It hasn't.
It really hasn't.
And if you look at it as if it's a good thing or a bad thing, like I forget what I was listening the other day where when you were a kid, you used to just go outside, say, bye, Mom, and then come back at night, you know, when it's time for dinner. You eat dinner, then you go play some video games, go to bed. Now it's like the communication between your mom and stuff like that is so much more intense.
It's constant.
It's constant all day long. It's like if you're not there, you're getting texted by your daughter or your son. Yeah. And it's like a constant communication where it's more parenting, so that's good.
Do you FaceTime with people?
All the time, yeah.
I mean, remember when we were a kid? That was some Jetson shit.
Yeah.
Remember George Jetson? You could do it on your phone?
I do a phone call. I was talking on my phone the other day, and I'm like, I am doing Dick Tracy right now.
You are, but better than Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
Right? Dick Tracy's was bullshit.
I had to answer I was in the steam room the other day, and my phone, I was like, well, I can answer it. Hey, what's up?
Because it actually has a cell phone chip.
This is the 3.
The Amazon guy was at my door. I was like, just go in. I'm not there, but just go in.
Told the guy to go in, and you pop out of the bushes with your dick in your hand, right?
Jesus.
Is that the move?
Apartment building. Not
Go ahead.
my
Make yourself comfortable.
Come on in. Is that my package? Oh, hey, you can take the box after I come in it.
The FedEx guy should be here soon.
You guys get together. Take pictures of you two. I like brown, and I like the FedEx outfit's cool, too.
We don't fuck around with DHL. Got a disease last time.
Oh, DHL. I forgot about them.
on track, too.
Yeah. On track. DHL is like the RC Cola of delivery services.
Totally is.
RC Cola, like if someone said, hey, do you want to own RC Cola? You'd be like, yeah, fuck yeah. It's a lot of money. But, you know, it ain't Pepsi. Right? There's got to be some people out there that are like huge RC Cola fans.
Yeah.
That have like RC Cola t-shirts on and shit. You know? There's got to be. RC Cola's super underrated.
That and Diet Right. What are all those obscure ones like Faygo? Like Wu-Tang bought Faygo. Yeah, they bought Wu-Tang.
Mr.
Bought
Pips.
Yeah, ICP.
ICP.
ICP. What's that badass root beer? IBC?
Oh, IBC.
That stuff is fucking fantastic. Yes.
In the bottle.
God damn, that stuff's good. I wish that wasn't bad for you. Because god damn, it tastes delicious. That is the best fucking root beer on the planet. that I've experienced.
I've tried to not drink soda as much lately. That's my like
sweetie.
Arnold
You not
Palmer.
healthy?
Arnold Palmer is my new thing. Like I go through like that's like an old person thing, right? Arnold
Yeah.
Palmer. I get it. Like it's so funny. I get Arnold Palmers now. I drink them all day long. It's like
They're
lemon.
delicious.
Yeah, little lemon in there.
Now let me ask you this, because I don't think that I would have ever done this many yoga. I know I wouldn't have done this many yogas, and I know I wouldn't have taken a month off weed, and I know I would have taken a month off booze. But the month off booze is not hard. I mean, the only thing I went the other day to a Mexican restaurant, and I wanted a margarita so bad.
You have to.
They had these delicious. They were ribeye tacos. I was like, oh, that looks good. They're like fucking with habanero sauce on them. I'm like, give me a fucking margarita. Oh shit, I can't have one. It really hurt me.
You could have a fake margarita.
No, can't have it. I wanted a beer too. I wanted a beer and a margarita. But that's not hard. But I would have never done this. I might like take a week off or something like that. I would never have taken a month off if we weren't doing this challenge. What would you do? Like, what kind of challenge would you do? And
well,
would
I
would
tell
you hang in there and stick with it? Because a lot of people don't know, but you lost like 70 pounds once over like a short amount of time.
4
You went
months.
crazy. Brian broke up with his girlfriend.
Fiance.
Yeah, well, same thing. It's all
10
semantics.
years.
Anyway, broke up and said, you know what? What am I going to do with this?
Right.
And you got a picture of him all skinny? Look at that.
Jesus.
Jesus Christ. Jesus
I'm
Christ.
still not the guy on the left though.
Yeah, boy, you got big at one
Wow.
point, huh? 243, 245 to 163. Wow, look how skinny you
Sexy
look. Lower right hand
motherfucker.
side, dude. You're a cute little bitch.
Yeah. Little.
Look at that. Look at the phone you're holding up. Oh my god.
That's my envy, bro.
Dude, look at that phone. Isn't that hilarious that back then that phone was the shit? And if you had that now, you would assume that you live in like assisted housing.
I still have that phone.
Do you?
Yeah.
What do you do with it? Is it a burner?
It's in a box in storage.
Text ISIS with it?
Yeah.
Your burner phone. But this, so so what did you lose? How much did you lose there?
245 to 163.
Jesus Christ, dude.
82 pounds.
82
Wow,
pounds.
there's more than I thought I had lost.
You lost a shitload of fucking weight, man.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's Weight Watchers right there, buddy.
So you did it at one point in time. By the way, what the fuck is going on with your underwear line? Like, where is it? Is it like
Oh, I did
at
that
the
little
base of your dick?
That's right above the pubes.
That's the dick root. Look at the picture of you holding up the old pants.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's just crazy. And that wasn't even my biggest pants either.
That's crazy. Well, okay. What
Wow,
would it
that's
take?
crazy.
What would you be interested in doing? What kind of challenge? Would
Well,
you
my
be
challenge
interested
is
in doing?
I've been talking to Hinchcliffe about this and a few other people because one of the biggest things for a lot of us is smoking and
Cigarettes.
Cigarettes. And I've been trying to get, like, we had 9/11 last year. It was supposed to be 9/11. We had a month notice. All of us were supposed to clit on 9/11 so we wouldn't forget the
You
date.
said clit?
Quit. We're supposed to
heard that too.
clit.
Let it go.
It comes out of your mouth so simple, so easy. You're so used to saying it.
But then I was the only one that did it. I did it for 2 days, and then everyone else didn't do it, and they were all smoking. When you're at the comedy store and all your friends are smoking around you, it's almost fucking impossible.
Tony
to quit.
smokes a lot.
Tony smokes a lot. A
he
lot of
can't
people
help
smoke
himself.
a lot at the comedy store.
Yeah.
So my whole thing was like, hey, let's quit cigarettes, and everyone seemed down on it. Then yesterday I was like, hey, are we still quitting next month cigarettes? And everyone's like,
So you guys are going to do it in November?
yeah, I was going to try to quit, and
Well, listen. Why don't we set up a challenge?
or at least when I get back from Columbus, Ohio, I'll be there next month.
Let's think of a challenge that you could do, and who would you do it with? You need like
Tony
need,
Hinchcliffe
like,
for sure.
no sugar. This is you for a month. No sugar, no booze, no cigarettes. You would lose fucking 30 pounds just doing that.
Well, without having cigarettes, I'd probably gain weight because cigarettes actually, like, I think it's like your heartbeat and stuff. Like when you quit cigarettes, you start munching more, like on food. And you usually gain a lot of weight.
Yeah, people use it as an appetite suppressant.
Yeah,
So, like,
I use it
smoke
for
instead of eat.
breakfast.
Isn't it also Isn't it also a stimulant though?
Yeah,
It's a stimulant.
I think so.
Yeah.
I definitely need to lose weight, but I also, more importantly, I want to quit cigarettes. Like the drinking, I'm that's easy. Like I quit drinking the other day for like 4 days, and I smoked. Well, I mean, I didn't drink for 4 days. I smoked weed though instead. Next day, I was like, why do I have a hangover? It was a weed hangover.
You have a weed hangover?
Yeah, I didn't even realize that. When you first start smoking weed, you used to have these. Like the next day, you're like, man, I smoked so much weed, I feel like dumb or something like that. The next morning. I hadn't had that in a while because usually when I'm smoking, I'm drinking. So I always blamed it on the drinking. Like, goddamn, I feel like I'm hungover.
Well, I've never had a weed hangover, I don't think.
You're going to have one when you start smoking. You're going to be so fucking high. You're going to smoke half a joint and be like, oh, having panic attacks.
I'm legitimately nervous. I'm legitimately nervous about smoking pot again. But here's my real concern. I'm really wondering, like, what is going on where I'm dreaming so much more vividly without pot? And is that a bad thing that I'm not dreaming when I'm smoking pot? Like, am I somehow or another doing some damage?
Yeah, I think so. I think for sure that marijuana, if you smoke a lot of marijuana, that you don't have as good of dreams. I don't think
like
you
to point
realize
out that you're not a neuroscientist.
I know. Dr. Brian. This is Dr. Brian here.
Dr. Redban.
But
what exactly do you think is what's causing the lack of dreams?
Another thing, you might have THC in your fat, and so you're getting THC, still, burning off, especially since you're doing yoga. It's probably like, it's probably still fucking with you a little.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. But I mean, we got high before most of the podcasts with comedians. I got high before most comedy shows. So that's like 3-4 nights a week at least. Now, I'd take a day or two off and it was nothing. Super easy to do.
Right.
It was never a problem. But I never took a month off. So when I would take a day or two off, even if I go on vacation, right? If I went on vacation, I would take a week off. People were mocking me relentlessly online. Before I told everybody that I was taking the month off, when they started doing all this pray for Joe, people was going, Joe, I don't, in quotes, I don't smoke weed on vacation, Rogan. Like, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. But it was just like, I'd be in Europe or something like that. And, you can't get weed. Don't bring it with you. You don't want to go to jail. So just don't smoke weed. It was no problem. So I was like, I don't need pot. It's not an issue. And I don't need it, obviously. I've gone through this whole month. But I'm stunned at the differences in the way I'm dreaming. Like, stunned. Like, I never expected it to be so extreme, so vivid. Every night I'm having fucking crazy dreams. Every night. And they're almost all primal. They're almost all like animals and waterfalls and fucking ocean. It's all like a lot of falling, like a lot of like bouncing on shit, like
that's interesting.
Weird. I think I'm too busy. I've been thinking about that lately. I think I'm too busy. I think I do too much shit. And I never thought that before. I never thought that, but you would think that like smoking pot would make you think you're too busy. But not smoking pot makes me think I'm too busy. It makes me think that
you're probably thinking clearer, though, in some ways. Your mind's not fogged with, like, you're overthinking about music instead of, like, life,
Yeah, well, food does not taste as good. I'll tell you that. Food's way better when you're smoking weed.
Movies aren't as good.
Movies aren't as good. Music doesn't sound as good. I think the key to it is using it occasionally. I think that's the key. I think marijuana, like daily use. Terrence McKenna talked about this many years ago, and he was a daily smoker. And one of the things that he was saying, he was doing some sort of a lecture, and he was saying that the correct way to do marijuana is to not do it for a long time and then do as much as you can stand. And then just fucking hold on. Woo! And that's how he would do it. He would do cannabis when he was doing it correctly, when he wasn't like an inveterate daily smoker. He would do it like a psychedelic. He would do it in these big bursts where he would, and he was recommending like that's the way to do it, and that people who think they know what cannabis is, if they smoke cannabis on a regular basis, you don't really know. Like the way to really know what it is to take a lot of time off, or obviously eat one of Joey's edibles.
No, I don't do edibles anymore. That's one thing I quit completely. I don't fuck with edibles at all.
I would like to see what happens with Joey if he took a week off.
Oh my
or
God.
A month off. Joey would be violent. He would attack people.
Yeah.
Oh, we took a month off of edibles or whatever, right?
Did he?
Lent. Never gave it up for Lent. The
Lent?
edibles.
Joey's not religious. I give it up for Lent, dog. He's going to be here Friday, by the way, folks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But if he did take a month off, I mean, he didn't take a month off weed, though.
That's what I don't think it was smoking. I think it was just eating it.
Yeah, he told me that once. He told me, he was like, I can't do these fucking edibles anymore. They're too much. They're too much, Joe Rogan. I'm fucking up. I'm taking too much. It's messing me up. Next time I saw him, he's down in stars of death. Literally, the next time I saw him, I go, how many milligrams those? 125. Throwing down 2 125 milligram stars of death. I'm like, you are a monster.
You saw the episode where he passed out, right?
He passed out on the microphone, right? Lee Saya, I can't even see. He's like looking at life through like slits. Like he's like barely cracking the page of a book. Like
Lee is hilarious. I was listening to his latest episode with Felicia Michaels, who has a new movie that I'm in called Pervs, where we went to this, like one of those strip things where you put the money in and the curtain comes up and there's a woman naked masturbating.
Yeah.
Well, Felicia did this movie where she asked me to do it. It's in North Hollywood, deep in North Hollywood, where you shouldn't go. And it's so gross. You're in this gross, creepy room.
You forget that there's sections in North Hollywood. You're like, yeah.
It's gross. And this like curtain comes up. And there's all these cameras. And just this woman there masturbating while asking me questions. And it's so hard to answer when there's like somebody doing that. And you're just like,
what kind of questions?
Like, just like sex questions and stuff. I don't remember because it was so long ago. I forgot I even did it. Ugh. But Felicia was on the other day and listening to Lee on that, like Lee's never been to a strip club before, but his little voice when he chimes in, he's like, I've never been to a strip club before.
He'd never been to a strip club
before?
before?
He's scared of him, he said. I want to take that guy to a strip club so bad.
Why is he scared?
I don't know. I think it's a money thing because he's just like, I just don't get it. You pay the money and then they try to get money out of you.
Oh yeah.
Someone told a story recently about Jeremiah Watkins they took him to a strip club and he freaked out and just like ran out the back. Yeah. Basically, same kind of thing. Like I don't know if he's ever been to one or doesn't want to go or.
Yeah, he looked at the ground and walked from the front, never looking up, all the way to the back and out the back door.
Really?
Yeah, I did the other day. Oh, this is crazy. I did a show with George Perez in Compton at a strip club in Compton, and let me tell you, man, that was one of the most eye-opening. Like that exists. We walk in, there's strippers. Like this stripper just came up to me and goes, "Hey, honey, look at this pussy. I swallow all the babies. You want to get it? You want some of this?" Right? And like right when I walked in.
Whoa.
Just,
What'd she look like?
Like a baby mama. Like I don't know. Like she,
a baby mama?
Yeah, there's still a baby hand sticking out of her probably. A blue baby hand.
Was she attractive?
No, there was a few, but then every time you talk to him, you're like, oh, if I fuck up, I'm dead. You know, like she was like,
ghetto.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Super hostile.
Yeah.
What about the clientele?
Well, they were mostly there for us. Like George just pretty much, we had the whole club of ourselves. It was all people coming to see the show. So it was
strippers too, though.
And strippers too.
So was the idea that you would get people in there for the show, and then the girls would dance for them afterwards?
Yeah, and while we're doing the show, they were coming and sitting on a table. Hey, you want to go get some butt sex upstairs? You know,
butt sex.
But
are you just making that up, or did they actually say
I mean,
that?
it was full on whatever you want, pretty much place. Like, but it was fucking scary.
Yeah, if you go to a bad neighborhood, there's levels to everything, right? Like the levels of stress and pressure that a chick has to deal with if she's a stripper in a really bad neighborhood. Like that's how diamonds get developed, son. They get you don't develop diamonds in a fluffy pillow. You know, you're not gonna make a diamond on a Tempur-Pedic mattress. It needs fucking pressure. Serious pressure, man.
Like when you see one of the street hookers walking in a bad neighborhood, it looks like that's where they all worked. Yeah. like it was that.
Did I ever tell you the time when Brian Callen met his ex-girlfriend walking the streets?
Yeah.
That's harsh.
Yeah.
That's when you just go, whoa, what? He was outside of the Coach and Horses on Sunset. You know that place?
Yeah.
Where Stan Hope used to love?
Yeah, that's closed now. But
is it?
Yeah, I think pretty sure it is.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
That was a good little joint. I remember Ralphie May, rest in peace. We were supposed to meet Ralphie there, and Ralphie showed up an hour later. And we're like, what the fuck, Ralphie? We look in the back seat, and he had like 13 boxes, those jalapeno poppers from Jack in the Box.
Oh my God.
He just had gone off on jalapeno poppers.
I love Halloween poppers.
Poor Ralphie. Well,
Miss that
Ralphie,
guy.
when he had his stomach stapled, and when he had his stomach stapled, for some reason he couldn't eat meat. Like there's something about the operation they did. It made him have a real issue with meat, but he still loved to cook it. So he used to barbecue. We went over his house once, and he's a fucking killer cook.
Oh, yeah.
Ralphie makes.
He's got his own barbecue sauce, big baby barbecue sauce. I went to his house and he cooked like this whole thing, and he goes, "Hey, check out my barbecue sauce."
Was he eating meat at the time?
Oh yeah, he got his staples removed. I mean, he did it himself. He just ate a lot. He just I'm just going to eat a lot of meat.
He just ate right through those staples. Yeah, he had this idea that he was going to lose all this weight, and
it did kind of work for like a couple days.
Well, the problem was he was so big that, like, if he said he lost weight, like, you're like, okay, how much? You know, he could say he lost 100 pounds, and you'd be like, I believe you. But it's hard to tell, you know? It's like you couldn't. But you imagine, like, how strong his legs must have been.
Oh, the strongest feet in the business.
Like, that guy could probably kick through a fucking building. You think about it? Like, if he's carrying around 500 pounds, imagine if I took you and I threw 300 pounds of weights on your back. You're just walking around with 300 pounds everywhere you go. I wouldn't be able to do it. Like, I lift weights all the time, and I wouldn't be able to do it. I'd be like, what the fuck, man? But he would walk everywhere.
Bust through walls, giving us Kool-Aid.
He had those calves. You know those fat dude calves? They developed this. I bet if you could like look at the musculature in his legs, I bet if you get through all the fat in his arms are like normal size arms. But I bet he had some jacked fucking Lee Haney quads.
Yeah,
you know, I would imagine.
That's a tender meat down there.
Think
like,
so?
Like it's weird when you see people that have those big calves, but they're always blue, like that diabetes legs.
That's rough. That diabetes blue.
Yeah.
That's super common though, right?
Yeah, there's a homeless guy by my house that just hangs out at Starbucks, and he has it so bad where it's blistered. And every time he walks, a little blood squirts off and drips down his leg. It's the grossest thing ever.
And he's homeless?
Yeah.
And he's fat.
Yeah, he's huge. And what's weird about Burbank is there was another guy that had like this big nose. Like it was he looked like it was some kind of weird cyst nose where it's like the size of like a pineapple. And he looked like Bernie Kosar or whatever that old guy. Like, I'm Bernie Kosar.
Who's Bernie Kosar? He's like a hockey player or something?
Quarterback for the Browns.
No. What's Bernie, the sports? I'm Bernie. The old sports commentator.
Brian is the only guy.
Howard Cosell. He had like a Howard Cosell nose, like huge though.
You're like the only guy who knows less about sports than me.
I hate sports so much. But all the people in Burbank always like, hey, we'll fix your nose. Like people are so nice. Like I'll pay for your nose to get fixed, and he wouldn't. Yeah, bigger than that. Like imagine that nose times 100.
What was the dude that was the Cubs guy? The crazy glasses.
Hi, I'm Harry Carey.
Harry Carey. And didn't he have like a lisp?
No, he just he has like really big glasses, and he just talked real crazy. Will Ferrell did a great impression of him.
Like a hot dog. Hi, I'm Harry Carey.
Yeah, you would figure like a homeless guy would be skinny. That'd be like the ultimate diet. No food, a lot of walking.
Well, the only food they're eating probably is like fast food. Like, you know, I mean, fast food's so fucking cheap. The other day, Arby's has this new steak. You should go to venison.
I think it's like an elk burger or something.
I think they have elk only in a couple places, but they have venison in a bunch of places.
Yeah, venison. I had it yesterday. It's like having a steak on two, but it was only $5, and it was great. It was like real.
Well, if it's venison, they do these mass executions of deer in some places where they have to eradicate these deer. Like they get a little too crazy. I would imagine that's probably where they're getting some of their meat from.
Yeah, because it's only for a limited time, only in limited places.
Well, you can only hunt them for so long. Like if it's during hunting season, you're not allowed to sell it commercially. Like hunting meat, like you can buy farm raised deer. They might have that, but I think I think it's illegal. I'm pretty sure it's illegal to sell wild game. Like to actually sell it. I don't think you can sell the meat, but I have some for you. I have elk jerky for you.
Oh, I want all
and
of
I have elk salami for you.
What was that one thing you made me that one time?
Oh, that was smoked ham. That was wild boar.
Ah, that was.
Yeah. Wild pig is the shit. Wild pig is very sustainable. Those little motherfuckers, they breed like crazy. You literally have to shoot them. They have a big problem with them right now in San Jose. I was just reading this thing about San Jose. Like San Jose is trying to figure out they're hiring people to set traps in people's yards because in the middle of the night these wild pigs come up and just fuck people's lawns up. And in San Jose is like tech industry, you know? It's like
I didn't even know that was a thing up there. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, what's interesting is a lot of it came from that crazy asshole that made weed illegal, William Randolph Hearst. William Randolph Hearst, when he built the Hearst Castle. Have you ever been to the Hearst Castle?
Yes, I have. It's pretty sweet.
Fucking
I never put the
crazy.
two together. I was like, oh fuck, I've been there. Yeah.
Is the Hearst Castle the one that has like the stairways that lead to a brick wall? Like you open up the door and there's nothing there, or is that another? That's a crazy lady. I think I'm thinking of a different person. But William Randolph Hearst, when he had the Hearst Castle built, he released a bunch of wild boars, Eurasian boars, all over the backyard, so he could just hunt them and shoot them because he was just a crazy rich asshole. And those motherfuckers populated the entire Northern California region.
That's crazy.
Hunter S. Thompson, when he was young and he lived in Big Sur, he used to go hunt wild boars with a machine gun. There's like a famous classic picture of Hunter S. Thompson holding a knife and an AK-47 while there's a wild boar that's hanging from its back legs and he's cutting it open and about to cook it. I'm like, whoa.
Have you ever had pig's tail?
Pig's tail? I've
Yeah.
had pig's feet.
Pig's feet. I hate that pig's feet.
It's good.
Is it?
Delicious.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't remember much about my real dad, but I do remember he loved pig's feet. And I ate it when I was a little kid.
Yeah, you can buy it at the
Pickled.
grocery store. Yeah, pickled pig's feet.
You got to go to a bad neighborhood, though.
No, they have it in my pavilions.
Really?
Dude, my girlfriend eats all that.
Pavilions?
She gets fish eyeballs. She eats fish eyes.
Oh, you're dating an Asian.
Yeah.
This
Wow,
is
that's
the Winchester
Whoa.
Mystery House. This is the
Oh,
stairs,
that's
the
the
door
house.
to nowhere, or
yeah.
whatever it is.
Where's that one at?
It's near San Jose.
Okay, yeah, same kind of area. Yeah, this house is a wacky house.
What's this?
How'd you
one
go to
about?
this house?
I was a little kid.
Oh yeah. Oh, I thought it was like Greece.
Well, I lived in San Francisco when I was little.
Oh,
From
that's right.
age 7 to 11, we lived in San Francisco. And we took a tour of the Hearst Castle when I was little, I remember it. And we went to this mystery house, too. But there was, like, doorways to nowhere.
I love these
Yeah.
old rich houses. Like I went to the Gamble house, Procter and Gamble. It's in Pasadena, but that's where they filmed like Back to the Future.
What was that one with the fish with the seagull? What the hell was that?
It's just somebody's.
Oh,
blog
someone's
about their
blog.
trip. Yeah.
So what were we saying? What?
But like these houses back then, the architecture there. And I mean, Procter and Gamble at the time, he was like our billionaire. So he would have these houses have so many like unique. That's it, right?
Is that the Hearst Castle?
No,
This is the Gamble
house.
The Gamble house?
Yeah, and so like there's like all these like secret rooms, and the
That's a-
architecture there is amazing.
That's a beautiful house.
It was
Yeah.
Doc Brown's house.
It's Doc
in Back
Brown's
to the Future.
Back to the Future.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, it's in Pasadena.
It's a cool
That's
little.
in Pasadena, that house is?
Yeah.
God, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love houses like that.
Me
Like
too.
wood structure. Like, look at that lawn, too.
The architecture there is so amazing, and just walking through.
Pasadena's amazing, man.
is.
Pasadena. Whoa, that's the inside of it?
Yeah, and you
What'd
can
you just
walk
do
ar-
there? You got a 360 tour?
Yeah,
Dude, this
it's on
house is
Google
the
Maps now.
shit.
You can like look through shit
Mm-hmm.
on the inside.
Is this like they have tours of it?
Yeah. Me and my mom
That
went
guy's
to.
a ghost. These people are ghosts. Look at that. They're ghosts.
They have different kinds of tours, like tours where you could go to rooms that you can only go to if you go to this certain tour. And,
That's fucking beautiful. That's the same house?
yeah.
Pasadena had this Frank Lloyd Wright house that was for sale forever, and I think it finally sold. And there was another one that's like another Frank Lloyd Wright house, I believe, that was for sale in Los Feliz. And I was like, God damn, I don't want it. That's the house.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to live in Los Feliz with all the hipsters, but I might live there just to be in this house. Look at this fucking the Mallard house. That place is the shit.
I love Frank
That's
Lloyd
sold
Wright.
though. Yeah. The inside of that house was incredible. Jamie, go to the inside where you see there was all this crazy patterns. Yeah. See all the crazy patterns in the stone columns? I mean, it was just a gorgeous house. Like, it was literally like you're owning, whoever owns it, you're owning a piece of historical art. Like that one right down there. Look at that.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. That's like a museum or something.
There's a house in Pennsylvania, Frank Lloyd Wright house. I think it's in Pennsylvania, where it's the same thing, where it's just waterfalls and amazing things like this. Like,
You know what's probably the dopest house I've ever seen is the Ferris Bueller's Day Off house when he drove the Ferrari
Yeah,
out
what
that
house
window.
was
That's
that?
in Seattle. That house is in Seattle.
that
It's
looks like it right there, the Pennsylvania one with the waterfall. That looks like.
Oh, look at that. Click on that one.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Fuck.
Oh, that's Chicago.
That's in Chicago?
Yeah.
Probably have to dodge bullets on the way to
Yeah,
your
the
house.
Ferris Bueller house was for sale not too long ago.
Really?
Yeah, I remember
Probably
seeing it.
a fuckload of money. How much does a Ferris Bueller house cost? Look at that house. God damn, that's gorgeous.
So awesome.
Man.
That's Laurel Highlands, Pennsylvania. There it is.
Dude, there's nothing better than like living around trees. Like there's something about like that image of that house, like with all those trees in the background, all that green. Like that just makes you want to live. You know what it reminds me of? The Crazy Billionaire and Ex Machina. Remember that guy? The guy lived in some crazy wooded house in the forest.
I just rewatched that. Such a great movie.
There it is. Ferris Bueller's Day Off house. That house is the shit. But people would watch you fuck. They'd be hiding in the bushes, binoculars. I see him.
That guy's got a new movie coming out.
Ferris Bueller?
No, the Ex
Matthew
Machina
Broderick?
guy.
Oh.
Well, he might too. I don't know. But
Sure,
the
make
Ex
a
Machina guy.
Yeah, the Ex Machina guy has a good movie coming out.
Directed. We watched the trailer off air, but I'm trying to remember what it was right now.
Yeah.
Let me look it up.
Yeah, it's some sort of a science fiction movie, right? Yeah. That's one of my... If I had a top 20 all-time favorite movies, Ex Machina is right in there.
Wait,
I thought it was so well done.
Me too. And I rewatched it. It's perfect still.
Yeah.
Is he doing that book, the science fiction book?
Annihilation, yeah.
Oh.
I think that's what it is.
What is it about?
Um,
Jeff Vandermeer. Watch the new trailer for Ex Machina.
Oh,
Director.
yeah, Natalie Portman's in it.
Oh, yeah, that's
There's
right.
That
Oh,
world,
that's right. Yeah,
that
it was
whole
like...
world they go to, and like her husband died, and they're going to find her. Some
Yeah, it was some...
or portals. Or, we'll find out.
Yeah. Dude, I got to stop drinking coffee when I'm on a podcast.
Because of the phlegm thing?
Yeah.
Well,
It's terrible.
is
Even that
it-
caveman coffee. Just coffee in general. If I drink water, I'm fine. If I drink coffee, I start phlegming up, and I have to clear my throat.
You should do la croix. Those little bubbles will get out of that phlegm.
Ooh. You know what I like, dude? Zevia, that Stevia soda. Do we
Yeah.
have any of those back there?
The soda, yeah. I
Do
don't
we?
know what flavor is in the.
Just go
is it root
grab
beer or
a
something?
few of them.
Those things are
Just
delicious.
Bring those motherfuckers
Where do you
back.
find them, though? I can't find them anywhere.
Amazon.
Amazon, okay.
Yeah,
They're
Amazon.
in some grocery stores, but like the soda aisle is so big and taken over by the big ones. There's like 1 6-pack in every grocery store if
Yeah.
you get lucky.
I'm so burnt out on LaCroix, and so I'm not trying to doing all the other
do you
ones.
say it?
LaCroix.
They have Zevia water.
Yeah.
Very similar.
It's so stevia is still fine, right? Like
yeah.
there's nothing bad with stevia. 'Cause
Not yet.
I always hear like, what was the other one that? The
Aspartame.
Yeah,
That's
not
terrible.
Aspartame. The coconut one.
Xylitol?
The coconut.
Oh.
The
Xylitol. Yeah, what was the coconut one?
fuck. What was that one? Yeah, anyways,
They're
but-
all most of them like monk fruit is supposed to be really good. Most of that stuff, like the chemical stuff's dangerous, but stevia, I'm pretty sure we should have Jamie check. As soon as Jamie comes back, I don't want to tell anybody, yeah, bro, eat all the stevia you want. Do you remember that crazy guy that was snorting stevia?
Yeah.
Was his name Dan Quinn?
Yeah, that guy. Is that guy still alive?
I don't know.
Man, that guy was crazy. The
He had
the
some
weightlifter
awesome-
guy or the
He was a
MMA
fighter.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he had some awesome videos of him snorting stevia, talking about how stevia burns off calories and gives you muscles.
Root beer.
Yeah, we got root beer, cream soda.
This is 0 calories, and it's sweetened with stevia,
Yeah.
and it's like LaCroix that tastes better.
Grapefruit citrus. People are going to think this is some really fucking low-level, sketchy commercial.
Man, if I wasn't wearing my MeUndies right now, I would.
Well, if you just go to stamps.com today.
Oh my god, that tastes like root beer.
Yeah, legit.
Oh, I need this.
Okay, here's the question. Is there anything wrong with stevia? We need to find out.
I feel like there
Google
was
it.
something recently that's.
Google, does stevia kill you?
My dad's still on the thing where if it's any kind of artificial sweetener, your brain thinks it's real, so it releases chemicals unnecessarily that doesn't have anywhere to go. So he says it's still bad for you, any artificial sweeteners.
Right,
That's
but
my
this
dad,
isn't an
yeah.
artificial sweetener.
It isn't.
No, stevia is made with a plant. That's why it has the little green leaf. That's what stevia looks like.
But isn't it your brain think like, hey, this is sugar though? It tastes like sugar.
I don't know. Maybe your brain does.
I don't know. Let me see
Maybe my brain's smart enough to know. My brain's like, yo, bro, this is fake, bro. This is fake sugar, bro.
root beer is so
Don't get
good.
crazy. I had a real Coke the other day by accident.
Oh,
Yeah, I went to a drive-thru. It was late at night, and I was fucking starving. And I'd worked all day, and I worked out, and I was just like, I just need to get a fucking Burger King. Or not Burger King, Wendy's. Went and got a Baconator. Yeah. And I asked for a Diet Coke, and they hooked me up with a regular Coke.
they always do that shit. Pisses me off, but it's still good.
It was delicious. It was so good. I haven't had a regular Coke in years.
I treat myself once in a while. Get a little Mexican Coke. I went to In-N-Out the other day. Man, I am not on board with In-N-Out. I'm not going to get shit on this, but
What's wrong with you?
In-N-Out, it's so
Cigarettes killed your fucking taste buds.
boring. But you go to Wendy's, it's so much better.
What?
If you have a burger,
Who are you?
If you have a burger from In-N-Out and a burger from Wendy's, Wendy's tastes a million times better.
You definitely have fucked up your
I would love
taste
to have a
buds with
taste
cigarettes.
test. There's a show called Good
Can you
Mythical.
believe what he's saying? I don't even know what you're saying.
There's a show called...
You really think that Wendy's is better than
a
In-N-Out?
million times better than In-N-Out.
That's a million.
Million.
I can't trust you with anything from now on.
You're from California though, so you grew up
No,
on
I'm
In-N-Out.
not.
Yeah, but most of your life you spent here in California. I just
don't use
get
that
it.
Columbus bias on Wendy's though, because it's from where we're from.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's better.
True.
You're from California. You're all In-N-Out.
I would love to take Five Guys, all the burger places that we know of, and have a taste test with a blind taste test, and you tell me which one is the best. And I bet
Five
you
Guys-
In-N-Out will be nowhere close to the
Five
best.
Guys with bacon and jalapeno would butt fuck all the rest of them. I just said it.
Five Guys is good. I don't like the fries as much as
They're the
Wendy's.
best. See, you got a problem with your face.
Fatburger's really way up there, and there's
Fat Burger?
There's
Fat
not
Burger?
many of them to compare it
Way
to.
up there taste-wise?
It's really, really, really
There's
good.
one like a mile away from here.
No, I know, but I mean, there's just not tons of them all around the world and country.
They're pretty good.
They're all right.
They're pretty
It's
good.
really good.
But I
Like,
think they give you frozen meat. I think it's frozen meat that they recook. But I don't think that's that big of a deal. I'll tell you what, man. That whole frozen versus fresh argument, I think the real thing is like when you cook it. You got to cook it like right there and then. You know, like the problem with a lot of these fast food places is they have that fucking thing cooked way in advance. They just nuke them.
Right.
And then hand them to your microwave.
Burger King says flame broiled, but you know what they do? They flame broil it, then they put it in a pan with all this beef juice, and they just let it sit in this pan like kind of like a caterer, like when you go to catering where they just
Yeah.
pull it out. It's disgusting. The grossest burger you'll ever have in your life is Carl's Jr. grass-fed burger. Taste it sometime.
Really?
You'll throw it out your window. And it made me sick how
Carl's
disgusting it
Jr.
is.
right now they're establishing lawsuits.
I know a lot of
lawyers.
people are big fans of Whataburger when we talk about In-N-Out, like where they have it. I think like Texas is a big place
Yeah,
for
because
Whataburger.
they're all Texased out. They got a fucking big belt buckle and cow horns on their front Cadillac.
Whataburger's delicious.
They're out of their fucking mind.
I'd buy the spicy ketchup from Amazon. That's the best ketchup you'll ever have.
What is this? You buy Whataburger
Whataburger
ketchup?
spicy ketchup,
Oh
Amazon.
my
It's
God.
I'll buy you some. It's fucking delicious.
That's so
It's
ridiculous.
the best ketchup in the world.
Whataburger's good. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say no if I was hungry, but it cannot fuck with Five Guys or In-N-Out.
Here's the Stevia.
Let's do a taste test soon.
Okay, what's wrong with stevia? What is it? Stevia is short for Stevia rebaudiana, a plant from the chrysanthemum family, which grows in parts of Brazil and Paraguay. The compound that makes the stevia sugar is extracted from the leaves. It's used in the UA, East Asia, Russia, blah, 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 and is about 200 to 300 times sweeter than sugar. Whoa. When did the FDA approve it? In the 1990s, the FDA rejected stevia as a food ingredient after research linked it to reproductive problems and possible genetic mutations in rats. Well, I'm not a rat, so... in 2008, the FDA approved a specific formula of pure stevia, rebaudioside. How do you say that? Rebaudioside A, Pure Via, and True Via. Both contain the Reb A version of stevia, which is FDA approved. The FDA recommended daily dose is no more than 1.3 milligrams per kilogram of body weight for healthy adults. You'd have to have at least 29 Truvia packets a day to exceed that. What do the experts say? If your stevia isn't made from Reb A, like, for example, the whole leaf extract that's sold at natural food markets and labeled as a dietary supplement, hasn't been vetted for safety by the FDA. For Truvia and Pure Via, the FDA concluded with reasonable certainty that Reb A is not harmful under its intended conditions of use. Based on studies it looked at concerning reproductive, blood pressure, and toxicity effects, although scientific studies in the 1960s and 1980s found that stevia-derived products decreased fertility in female rats. Good, feed it to chicks, shoot them full of loads. And potentially led to mutations. The FDA concluded that those problems didn't apply to Reb A based on additional research. That's already paid off. The problem with this fucking... I don't trust any studies from back in the day anymore after that sugar study got exposed. where you found out from the New York Times did this whole expose on how the sugar industry bribed all these scientists to say that sugar's not bad for you. It's this saturated fat. And they pushed all the blame on heart attacks and heart disease on the saturated fat. It's hilarious.
So this Stevia, I can't tell. What they're pretty much saying is like the Whole Foods, the pure extracted stevia plants are not good for you, or they're saying it's not FDA
I think they say
approved.
it hasn't been vetted. That's the stuff that we put in coffee.
That was also a 4-year-old article. That was like from motherjones.com, which seemed like a good place, but it was...
Mother Jones is a good place if you have stinky feet and you're like wearing Birkenstocks and you have wooden beads. Mother Jones is a good magazine, but they're super left-wing hippie. I don't know if they're right, though. I mean, they might be right. Makes sense.
Yeah, I was just looking for some FDA results on that.
I mean, there's no biological free rides. If you talk to doctors, they say, look, there's something probably going on. You know, like I used to think that Advil was fine. I used to think that Advil, there's no problem with Advil until Dr. Rhonda Patrick explained to me about strokes and fucking heart attacks and all kinds of crazy shit that you can get from consuming Advil.
Wasn't Advil the thing that you're supposed to take, though, if you're having a heart attack?
No, that's aspirin.
Aspirin.
Aspirin supposedly prevents heart attacks, but I wonder why. Like, do you think is it something in the... It's because aspirin, if I remember correctly, I should probably Google this, I think it comes from the bark of a tree. I think actual aspirin is an extraction, like a plant extraction. And somehow or another, aspirin... because it does reduce inflammation, it's supposed to be good for people that have heart problems. Aspirin blocks an enzyme called cyclooxygenase that makes your body less likely to produce chemicals that can cause inflammation. It helps prevent blood clots. That's important because they clog the arteries and bring blood to the heart, muscles, and the brain, which increases your risk of heart attack and stroke. So aspirin blocks that enzyme and makes you less likely to have heart attacks and stroke. That's pretty badass. But what is aspirin from? Where does aspirin come from?
Is aspirin safe to take as like a vitamin every day?
I think they actually encourage you to take aspirin. But you know what else can be done that could probably mimic the effects? Like, when you talk to people that really understand like health ailments, one of the big things they all seem to bring up is inflammation. They're like, inflammation is like one of the #1 sources of malaise. How do you say that? Malaise, disease, massive issues, health issues that people have. Inflammation. Inflammation, they think, is a huge factor in cancer. Huge factor in heart attacks, strokes, everything. Like, inflammation is just fucking bad. Like, anytime you're eating inflammatory foods, that's the big problem with sugar. That's the big problem with refined carbohydrates, is that they produce inflammation in people. Like, a lot of people that have, like, joint problems and shit, they go on a low carbohydrate diet and all their joint problems go away. Like, if you have, like, pain in your ankles and shit, a lot of people have found that just changing your diet makes that go away, because a lot of that inflammation is just your body just not responding very well to your diet. But that's different people. So what does it say?
I don't see anything about it being from a tree.
Oh, I made it up.
It seems like it's... I agree with you. I've heard that before.
I know there's something that sounds familiar, but I don't know if it was aspirin or not.
Well, what does it say it comes from?
I think it's just a chemical compound.
I think...
Acetylic acid.
But I think it's... aspirin extracted from a plant? Google that. Because I think aspirin was around way before they figured out how to make, like, pharmaceutical drugs. I think that shit's been around forever. There was a dude that was a friend of mine who was a really funny comedian who would...
willow bark.
Willow bark.
Ooh.
See? Ooh.
How to make aspirin from a willow tree.
Bitch.
Let's get some
yeah,
willow
it
trees.
contained the bark of a white willow tree contains the salicin, which is the chemical known as the acetylic, whatever.
That sounds like witchcraft. Doesn't it sound like witchcraft?
Mm-hmm.
The bark of a willow tree.
What's a...
In the middle of the night, on the solstice, you bring it to me, and I will conjure it up. I will put it in a cauldron.
Is a willow tree... Is a willow tree the same as a weeping willow?
Huh. Weeping
willow.
Willow is the one that's like sags. Right?
Yeah, and it has like those fuzzy things on it, maybe? I feel like I had a willow tree growing up.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a pretty tree.
Whoa. It's a nice tree there.
Whoa. What's that one?
It's frosted in winter.
How to make aspirin from a willow tree. Let's find out how to do it. What do you got to do? Let's make our own aspirin.
Let's make toothpicks out of a willow tree that prevent heart attacks.
Dude. Now you're talking. I wonder if that's real. I wonder if you could do that.
Probably, huh?
Why not, right?
Always sucking on a toothpick instead of smoking a cigarette?
Yes. Yes. So that's what you want to do, right? You want to quit smoking.
Yeah, quit smoking is my number one thing. Lose weight is my number two thing.
What's number 3? Grow your dick?
Get rid of the damn rat at my house. I feel like I'm diseased right now.
We played the video a couple weeks ago.
Of what?
Of your rat. We showed images.
Screaming?
Of your rat. Did we play
I
the video?
couldn't find the screaming one. I found the link later, and we moved on. But
The screaming
thing
thing.
was screaming. Brian caught a rat in a trap and set up cameras.
I didn't tell you what happened. The second part of what happened. So there's 2 rats. We killed one. The second one, with the video with the screaming one, escaped. For a week, we didn't see it. All my cameras, I have like all these night vision cameras. I'm like, well, it must have ran away. So I took all my traps, put them underneath the sink. One of my traps was a electric one where they walk in and they get electrocuted. So I put that underneath the sink. Anyways, cut to 3 months later, it smelled like death in my kitchen. And you've smelled death before, and you're like, oh, what the fuck is that? Sure enough, I open it up and I see this flashing red light. The rat had gone into the electricity thing, electrocuted himself, and had been there for 3 months.
So he went in there after?
After he must have been injured underneath my sink. He must have been injured.
You think it's the same rat?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I had so many cameras that I could tell there was one bigger, the pregnant one that we killed first. Then there was the father or the husband. And like it was like 2 different sizes. One was like, the crazy big. One was like smaller. But so I look and I see this rat tail coming out, and then it smelled like death right when I opened up the thing. Of course, luckily I'm dating an Asian who eats fish eyeballs, so I was like, "Get that out of here!" And so,
you made her do it?
No, she doesn't care. She has no emotion about death. You know?
She take her fishing.
Oh, I know. And so she takes it out and puts it in the trash can. Like I just told her to throw the whole thing away. We're not going to reuse that electricity thing. And it fell out into the trash can and bust open, and all these maggots just come out, like hundreds of maggots. It burst open, like the skin just couldn't take it anymore.
Did you take pictures?
No, I think she did. I think she did. I was freaking out.
You should definitely take pictures of
But
that.
now the rat's back. A new
Well,
rat.
it's not. I guarantee you probably had a ton of rats living in your house.
Well, what it is, we got the exterminator out, and we have one of those crawl spaces underneath my house, and the whole house has been, gridded up so there's no rats can get inside. So how they were getting in was confusing everyone. Found out our stupid ass neighbor. He's like, "Oh yeah, a rat chewed through my screen in the back of my house a couple months ago," and he had a cat. So they've been coming in his house, going in his kitchen, going underneath the house, going out into my house. So he's just because he didn't tell us that he has a big hole in his back fucking screen.
Yeah, but his back screen, the rats are coming out of his house?
It's coming in his house through this hole, and then they go in his kitchen, and they can go underneath the house by going under the pipes under his kitchen.
I guarantee you there's rats everywhere. Like, you can't blame this guy.
Well,
I mean, you live in an area, there's backyards.
There's horses everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, dude, there's rats are everywhere. You know where there's a fuckload of rats? Is a goddamn Comedy Store.
Yeah, I saw 3 last night.
Every time I go to that back smoking area, I look for rats.
Yeah.
And you'll see them scurrying across the top. I mean, I took videos of them. We were all hanging out in the back in the parking lot area where it says Mitzi's Mitzi spot only. There's fucking rats all over the place over there.
I hate rats, man.
Yeah.
Do you have rats? You don't have rats at your house. You have like other crazy shit, right?
We have rats.
Tarantulas
There's
or
definitely
something?
rats. Yeah, we used to have tarantulas. I caught a big tarantula the other day.
That's crazy.
Put that on my Instagram.
I've never seen a tarantula just walking around.
Yeah.
Like that's real. Oh my God.
It's a big fucker in my house.
In your house?
Yeah. Yeah, I put my sneaker next to it so people could see how big it is. He was big.
I just
But
can't take it.
but tarantulas are pretty mellow, man. Like you scoop them up. I put it in a box. Like I scooped them up in a shoebox, put them outside.
Yeah, they don't bite or anything, right?
Yeah, look at them.
Oh my God, though! If I saw that coming out of my shoe, are you freaked out to put your shoes on?
He didn't come out of my shoe. I put the shoe down next to him.
I know, but are you scared that anytime you put your shoe on, there might be a tarantula in it?
Tarantulas don't scare me. Black widows were much smaller than that, and I see them all the time, and they will fuck you up. Black widows are what's really scary.
Yeah, I have a lot at my house.
Yeah, that's That's a fucking big bug, right?
Would you ever eat that?
Yeah, they taste good. Apparently, they taste like crabs. Well, they're in the crab family. Yeah, yeah.
That's
But
right.
I watched a television show where these people were living in the Amazon, I believe, and they were cooking. See if you can find it. Amazon natives cooking giant spiders. I mean, and they had them. You ever see how they do? You need to look it up. Listen, I hosted Fear Factor. I could watch anything. I could literally watch people eat dicks. I have.
I know.
When you ever seen those things that they make? It's almost like a screen, and they put a fish down, and then they put the other screen on top of it.
And they bury it under.
No. Like you cook it over a fire.
Oh.
You know, like not a screen. It's like a bunch of sticks, and the fish is in between the sticks. You know, it basically just holds the fish in place while they cook it over the fire. They did the same thing with these giant fucking tarantulas. They cut them open, split them up, and laid them down on this fire, and just put the tarantulas out there to cook, just like they would cook like a crab or a piece of fish or something like that. It looked good. I bet they taste good.
It's fucking nasty.
They're really bugs, you know. Like they call lobsters bugs. Like that's the thing. Like those divers, they call them bugs.
Oh,
they're gonna kill it.
no.
Yeah. See.
No.
Here they get these fuckers.
Does it pop in your mouth?
Oh, they get really itchy because the hairs off of those bugs, they're not bugs really. They're arachnids. But the hairs off the spiders. So they take it. These are like little kids, man. And they cook them over the fire. But the thing is, man, I think they taste good. Somebody told me they ate them before. You know what? It might have been Les. I think Les Stroud told me they ate them. That he ate them.
My girlfriend would eat that right away.
No problem, right?
No problem.
With chopsticks.
Yep.
She put some of that duck sauce on it. Look at these kids. Mine's ready.
Oh,
but it looks like crab.
Tarantulas taste a bit like crab.
See?
They go down a treat.
Look, they're all excited. Human Planet, BBC.
That's cool.
But why are we afraid of tarantulas, but we're not afraid of crab? Like, no one has a problem cooking, like, you ever see like an Alaskan king crab alive? Their fucking legs are like this long.
They'll come in your house.
That's a good point. You don't have to put a sneaker next to it.
I think it's hair. I think it's a hair thing.
That's another good point. But roaches don't have hair, and roaches freak you out.
Yeah, but that's a shell thing.
Huh.
Like if roaches were yellow, no, that would be worse.
Well, listen, I ate a roach. I ate a roach on Fear
Right.
Factor. They taste like nothing. It's like nothing. They squirt in your mouth. That's kind of gross. Like I gagged a little bit when it squirted when I bit into it because it was so juicy. Oh, God. But the actual taste itself was very bland.
What about those pill bugs or those garden bugs that you guys used to have on Fear Factor? Those big green caterpillars that would just pop in your mouth.
Oh, I ate one of those.
Yeah, you
tomato
did.
hornworm.
Tomato horn.
I ate one of those. That wasn't so good.
What that tastes like?
Not that strong, still, but very mushy. Like if I was really hungry, I'd eat the shit out of a plate of those roaches.
Roaches?
Yeah, because I was in Mexico last year, and we were in Cancun. No, Cabo.
That's what
tomato
you
hornworms. Fear Factor. Just me.
It squirted out.
Yeah. Just chewing up a goddamn storm.
Man, this is when Fear Factor was
Here's
awesome.
the thing is, man, if I met this dude right now today, I'd go,
Everybody.
If I saw that dude today, I'd be like, nice to meet you. Like I don't remember meeting him.
That's so great.
My memory's such dog shit.
Wow.
My memory's pretty good for like normal stuff, but I think I've seen too much. All these people, I don't know who these people are.
This is
But
when
I obviously met them. That dude is going to town though. Look at him.
this is when Fear Factor was amazing.
Yeah, Ludacris, man, call me. I'll give you some tips.
Yeah. Did we talk about this? Like one of the stunts is like, oh no, you're gonna get your cell phone wet. Like that was a stunt. Like I don't want to get my cell phone
real?
wet. Yeah.
No.
I swear it's that.
They're on a budget.
Yeah.
Luda might have ate up that budget.
Just on that Fast and the Furious gig, money. You know, he's stuck in that world with the Tyrese and the
Yeah.
Rock and all those guys in their franchise.
Did we talk about Tyrese and The
That's
Rock
why I
feuding?
brought it up now.
Oh my God! Did we talk about it yesterday?
Yeah, we mentioned it off air, but we didn't talk about it.
I had no idea. I was on YouTube looking at something else. I was looking at some automobile thing, and I saw The Rock, and then I saw The Rock dissing Tyrese, and I was like, "This is real?" And I went to it, and no, it's real. Tyrese talked a bunch of shit about The Rock, and The Rock did a review of Tyrese's album.
But they're also in a movie right now together.
Doesn't matter. He doesn't like him.
Yeah, the thing's coming out because The Rock made a deal to make a spin-off sequel to the Fast and the Furious franchise that's not involving anyone that's in the Fast and the Furious. So
and they're mad. Tyrese is like, you're splitting up the family, which means nobody wants to go see a goddamn Tyrese movie. That's the real problem.
Yeah. I'm on Team Rock. Whatever he wants.
I love The Rock.
Me too.
He's a sweetheart of a guy if you meet him in person, too.
Oh, you got to meet him?
Yeah, he's great.
Tate did a movie with him, Jumanji.
He's a fucking great guy, like a legitimately great guy. And he inspires the shit out of me. You know, a lot of people think that meathead stuff, like in the gym, like push harder, get it done, you know, all work, all play, all day, you know, like all that crazy stuff. I find him inspirational. I don't care if it's simpleton stuff.
I think he's great.
I love him.
That night was pretty good.
Yeah, what do you got? Give me some volume.
5 a.m. I just wrapped a phenomenal workout here in the Iron Paradise. Got after it hardcore. Hardest workers in the room. It's how we do it. The number one question that I'm asked everywhere I go around the world is always, how is it that I stay so motivated? What are the motivating factors in my life that keep me in this psychological space? Number one will be gratitude. I try and find a way to be grateful for every single thing I have every single day. Wins, losses, loved ones, you name it. My life wasn't always this way. It was much different many moons ago. So these days I'm grateful to the bone for everything. The other thing is hunger. You always hear people say, well, it's about being number one, about being at the top. Or how about this? You're always going to find somebody out there who's going to work harder. Well, I don't know that. That might be bullshit. But I know no one is going to be hungrier than I am. And I try and find a way to be grateful. So I hope that helps. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. If you're watching this, you better be doing something productive and not freaky shit. Well, you could go do some freaky shit. Saturday night.
Need a little editing.
Yeah.
But I like the point.
It doesn't be that long.
It's inspirational, but all that saying about gratitude, that's real. That's legit. And who fucking works harder than that guy? He's always on a new TV show. He's got 10 movies juggling at the same time. Probably sleeps 2 hours a night. Look at him. I could do without all these pictures of people hopping in private jets, though. I get it. You're rich. The private jet thing to me is just, that's a weird form of selfie, you know? Like the private gym photos I get, but the private jet photos.
Who's the guy that faked the private jet?
Oh, little Bow Wow.
Little Bow Wow. What are you doing, little Bow Wow?
Little Bow Wow. That's a meme now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like people pretending to little Bow Wow things.
What's funny is nowadays.
It's so funny that someone on the plane busted him.
I know. And it's crazy because you could get a private jet pretty easily. Now, there's an app, whatever that app is, where you can rent, like if you're going to San Francisco, you can, if you're with 4 people, you can get like $200 plane tickets on a private jet.
Really?
Like, you can rent out private jets through an app now.
I think it's still pretty fucking expensive.
It's not like I think it's called Jet Smart.
Jet Set, yeah.
Jet Set.
The one here you can only just go to like San Francisco, Vegas, and maybe like Oakland.
But it's cheap.
But it's cheap?
It's super cheap.
$200, $250.
$250 to go to Vegas?
Yeah, on a private jet. And you could, if you could rent out the whole jet just to your friends.
You got to reserve it in time and make sure there's only a certain
After the Vegas massacre, tickets were like $70 to get to Vegas. Like, how does that work? Does the airline just decide no one's going to Vegas? We need to make it cheap and easy,
right?
Or do they go in cahoots with the casinos? Like,
might just happen fast. I don't know.
I wonder if they're in cahoots with the casinos. Because here's one thing that I noticed: you can't get a late night flight out of Vegas. They're like, no, stay. Come on, you want to go home?
Well, I think that's because of noise like the same with Burbank. You can't fly out or LAX.
Vegas noisy.
Well,
come on, man.
What time do they stop? Around like 10?
Yeah,
probably.
You can leave LA at 1 in the morning, right?
You can leave LA any time of the night.
So that's
yeah.
Would you feel weird staying at Mandalay Bay? Because I mean, we used to stay at Mandalay Bay all the time.
We stay there all the time. And I think I stayed in that room.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive I stayed in that room.
Probably have, because that was a corner suite.
It was a dope suite.
Yeah.
I think the Fertittas put me up in that room way back in the Dizzy. I'm almost positive. I looked at that room. I'm like, God, that seems like super familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd stay there. I mean, fuck.
Okay.
It's one guy, one crazy guy. Now he's dead. But if you go online, and read all the fucking rumors and all the theories. Jamie's one of them.
I was looking at facts. I'm not going into conspiracy stuff. There's just
Jamie's
facts
kind of a
stuff,
truther.
and,
He's a Vegas truther.
There's reporters looking into it. I don't need to do that job for them. They're looking into it.
What do you
I
think?
would
What do you
hope
think?
so.
There's a second gunman?
No,
Third, fourth. The team.
Do you
Like a
really
SEAL
think that?
Team 6.
I'll just say this much of it.
God.
While it was happening, I was listening to police scanner audio, and I was just following along the story. The story changed, and I had questions on why it changed.
Seems super normal, sitting around listening to police scanner audio.
Oh, you mean multiple shooters from multiple hotels?
I'm not. I just.
Yeah.
That's because he
not
was
the-
shooting towards multiple hotels and then shooting straight towards the.
I'm just.
Yeah.
All right.
But no, there was some reports of people shooting people in New York, and But here's the thing that you have to take into consideration. Whenever there's a mass shooting like that, there's chaos. And whenever there's chaos, you're going to get all sorts of bad information. People just like, they see things that's not there. No one knew where the shooters were coming from. People thought there were shooters in the crowd. I have friends that were actually there at the thing that dodged bullets. One of the girls who works for the UFC, she was one of the ring car girls. She was actually there. And she said as she was running away, people were dropping right next to her. Like she's trying to run and people got shot, like literally, like a movie. Boom, people dropping and falling down right next to her. One of her friends blew out her ACL because a guy got fucking shot in the head and fell and landed on her sideways and blew her knee out.
Dan Blitzerian said that that woman next to him, her head blew up.
Yeah, he was running away, making a video. I just saw some girl get shot in the fucking head. He was right there at the concert. Fuck, man. I mean, that guy planned that shit for a long time. I mean, I don't like to read too much into it, but that whole family's fucking crazy. The father was a serial bank robber who used to do all sorts of charity work so that people think he was a nice guy. And then he'd do this charity work and, you know, hey, it's just me, just nice Mr. Fred. And then Mr. Fred would go rob a fucking shitload of banks.
Yeah, and he had mental health issues, too.
Yeah.
He was pretty
Yeah.
fucked up.
The father was a nut. He was a real sociopath. And then the brother did like this rambling 30-plus minute interview where they were talking to him after the murders, and all he just kept talking about is what a great guy his brother was, and his brother was so smart, and he was the type of guy that if he wanted to, he'd just fly to Japan and have sushi. Yeah, or kill 50 fucking people like it's nothing. Like, what are you talking about? Your brother's a fucking serial killer. Your brother's a mass murderer. You know, shouldn't be talking about what an eccentric character. You know, he wasn't like us. You know, he would win at the casinos, and they comped him everywhere. And it's real weird. His brother talking is like a guy who's crazy, who's trying to not seem crazy. That's what it's like. It's like a guy who's trying to pretend like, hey, I think just like you guys do. I mean, I'm perplexed. That fucking apple does not fall far from the tree. When you got a dad that's a psycho like that, and he's raising kids, like there's a high probability that all those kids are fucking psychos too. This guy didn't do anything until he did this. That's another thing that's fucked up. It's not like this guy had this history of violence. He had planned this out and apparently gone to several music festivals and taken hotel rooms overlooking the arena, probably plotting it out in his head. When they found a note, people were like, what'd the note say? The note was ballistic calculations. He was doing ballistic calculations like drop of bullets. Like, you know, if you're shooting someone and you're at a certain distance, like some hunters have like a sheet of paper that they put on their rifle sight, and the rifle sight will say like at this, hold here, at 500 yards, turn to 7 or 6 or whatever they've calibrated it at. So this guy had those calculations written down on a piece of paper while he was gunning people down out the window. Straight up psycho. It's just hard to believe that that's a real person. And if you believe people that are, quote unquote experts in these sort of mass killings and these psychological outbursts, they think that they come in clusters. That like this happens and then someone decides that I want to be the next guy and then they do it somewhere else. So think about that. Or not.
Well, the JFK stuff didn't come out yet, right? That's supposed to come out. Yeah.
Clinton. Trump is, I guess, supporting it. He's going to release it all.
Of course, they're trying to kill him. You don't think they're trying to kill Trump?
Do you think it's going to show anything?
I don't know. I think someone's trying to kill Trump, though. Do you think? If you had a guess?
I mean, isn't anyone every president's probably always
Right.
being threatened? So,
But not just threatened. Like, do you think there's ever been a meeting where they got behind closed doors, like some shadow government type shit, and they said, do we do this or what do we? How do you want to do this? You want to do this? What are we doing? We're gonna do this. This guy's talking about there was like a recent thing where he was blaming the FBI for something about Russia, saying the FBI was involved in suppressing information. And everybody's like, do you understand that the president of the United States is questioning the integrity of the intelligence community? Like how crazy that is?
yeah, he doesn't trust them or whatever. Doesn't trust the 3-letter.
But he loves to do that, though. He loves to make everyone else seem untrustworthy. I mean, that is his thing. Like his thing is about fake news, the failing New York Times, fake news CNN.
Did fake news that like word exist 2 years ago, and it's now like it's the you can't go a day without fucking hearing.
I do not remember the term fake news.
No. I remember right before Trump became president, I remember talking to my mom about how horrible everything was. And I remember going, the biggest problem I have is with this fake news. And that was before fake news was talked about on TV. But I was talking about fake news on
The Onion?
on Facebook. I was saying
yeah.
like my sister keeps on posting this bullshit, it's fake stuff that she's posting. And I was getting mad at my sister. It's like fake news. And I remember my mom goes, there is a lot of fake news. And then literally, like 2 months later, everyone's talking
But
fake news.
that fake news was kind of obvious, though. That was like when they said that I killed a mountain lion outside the ice house with my belt. You know, that was like fake news. There was another one. Someone said that I disarmed somebody at the Comedy Store. A buddy of mine who's a cop actually sent me a text saying, hey, way to go. That's a tough situation to be in. I was like, what? And he's like, you disarmed somebody at the Comedy Store. I go, what? Like, I'm not disarming nobody, man. What the fuck are you talking about?
I guess thinking that through, what happened next, I would guess, or I would say, is that people started manipulating those websites to not be parody or satire even.
Yeah.
But they would make it look like a local news channel in some part of Pennsylvania or West Virginia, and then make a really salacious clickbait story, but have a bunch of Google ads on there. And then
I've seen those.
Those got weaponized, apparently, a little bit. And
Weaponized.
That's the word I would use, because they were being turned into bots.
Right.
Those kinds of, and that's what spread the quote unquote like fake news of today. That's being spread all over.
Well, I was reading a story, I think it was on Dig, about a Russian troll farm. Like that they have these businesses. Like these troll farms are like they're businesses. It's like do you work at T-Mobile? No, I work at the troll farm. Like,
what a fun job that would be. That's so great.
well, you were one of the original trolls, dude.
Yeah.
Pepsi Spice.
Oh, yeah.
We've brought that up many times. Russian troll farm that weaponized Facebook had American boots on the ground. Okay, that article makes me annoyed, Maya. You're annoying me. Weaponized that's all annoying me. Like, how's it? Why is that term? That's such a loaded term. Weaponized. Go to it. Let's understand what she said. Twitter CEO shares tweets. Hold on a second. Is that Jack?
I think so.
I'm trying to get Jack in here.
That'd be awesome.
We've had conversations. Twitter CEO shared tweets from Russian troll farm, according account claiming to be a black woman.
That's great.
Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's so good. Rihanna collects her humanitarian award from Harvard. She kicked off Women's History Month with a bang. Reads one of the tweets Dorsey shared from Crystal One Johnson in March 2016. That's hilarious. So this woman is tweeting all this shit, pretending she's a black woman, but really it's an account made by the Russian Internet Research Agency with links to the Kremlin. That is wonderful. Crystal One Johnson. Do you think they killed her account? Go to her account. See if it's legit. I hope it's still there. Just highlight it.
Oh, yeah, I guess just search.
Crystal One Johnson. Please be real. Please be real. Please be real. Tell me if you think it's real, Brian. Guess.
Yes.
Guess.
Yeah, tweet save.
Let's see. Go.
Let me click that.
Oh, she's still up.
No, it's gone.
It's gone. It's account suspended.
Wow.
God damn it.
But I can go to that.
God damn it, Jack.
Go to the.
That was what she used to look like?
No, that was somebody else's account who had retweeted too.
Someone who
This is
saved it?
the,
Oh, that's her tweets.
That's the account there.
This is amazing. Like, you look, she has a picture of a beautiful black girl laughing. You probably didn't learn this in school. And then she has a pic, says, Amelia Bassano is the lady who wrote all of Shakespeare's plays. Because she was black, they would not publish her work. She died in poverty because she never received a dime for her work. Shakespeare was illiterate and could barely write his own name.
What? Why are
That's
Russians
hilarious.
writing this? This is awesome.
Because it's funny. Positive black. Well, so people will reshare that. Look, go back up to that tweet. That doesn't show you how many people retweeted it, does it?
No, because it got deleted, so I can't.
Oh, this is
it.
wonderful. That's wonderful. I mean, that's like so obviously not true. Like she's pretending that some black woman wrote all of Shakespeare. I mean, isn't that like, wouldn't that be like the ultimate thing? Like the white man, the white male privilege of Shakespeare allowed him to steal. What is that?
Anne Frank was
meme.
actually an African American.
Is no way. Is that real? This
No,
is the
I mean,
real Anne Frank.
If someone believed it, then
Anaquisha Frank Jackson.
I think it's a joke. for
She was
sure,
a
but
Jew
it's
from
obvious.
Africa, the real land of the chosen people. Oh my God, that is amazing.
But that would trick someone who doesn't use the
White-
internet a lot, you know.
Whitewashed she's she's pretending to be a crazy radical feminist.
Oh, someone else responded. This was a response to that tweet by some random person.
Oh.
Delirium swag.
Oh, well, that guy's probably Russian too. How many people that you contact on a daily basis are actually just Russian trolls?
Half the internet, I feel like could be.
Yeah, but what they're doing is very clever though. Like it seems legit. It seems legit, right? Like that seems like a crazy person. Like I've seen many crazy radical black activists on Twitter that say things that aren't nearly as ridiculous as that. Or that's more ridiculous than, or that's less ridiculous than what they say.
I mean, this is one. If it's part of the problem, I don't even know if that's the right way to phrase it. But like, this is going on all over the internet in different forms and variations, and it's being used in not so like nefarious ways, but it's being used for potentially good. I don't know what the good would be, but someone has probably figured out how to use these bots.
Do you remember
good things.
before retweeting was an option on Twitter, people would write RT and then they would write what you said?
Yeah.
I used to encourage people to write RT and just make up a bunch of shit that I said. And then I would go, this is outrageous. I never said this. How dare you? And people would just say the most ridiculous shit, like I love the taste of cocks, and they would, you know, RT Joe Rogan just finally coming out. I was like, God damn it! I don't remember when I did this, but it was like the early days of Twitter because I was like, this is you could definitely just do that,
Right.
and then people would believe that you said a bunch of racist shit or a bunch of gay shit.
Well, you just opened that back up now, didn't you?
Go crazy. I like it. This part of what I like about the internet is like, did you read or did you listen rather to the Radiolab podcast on Shia LaBeouf?
No, I didn't.
It's fucking great. I sent it to Jamie. It's fucking great. What is it called again? Twitter Truth Trolls?
Yeah, you have to find it because they took it down.
How'd they take it down? I just
Why?
got it off.
You had it already downloaded on your phone because you've auto-download Radiolab podcast. So when I went to go find it, I had to go search for it. I sent you that link. They had taken it down the next day or something.
What?
Because people thought that they were
Endorsing
that
trolling.
Yeah, exactly.
They should be endorsing it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
What the 4chan guys did was fucking amazing. This is what they did. Shia LaBeouf. Is that how I say his name?
LaBeouf.
Whatever that fucking crazy asshole's name. He was doing some weird art piece where he like stood around with a bunch of other people and was like, he will not divide us. He will not divide us. They would all say that. And then all these 4chan people found out about it, so they showed up and started yelling a bunch of fucking Trump shit.
It's still up
Here.
live right now.
The camera is still up?
After that whole thing ended, they ended up like selling this to another company or art people, and they're handling all of it now. So Shia's name's not attached anymore.
Okay. So this he will not divide us thing, right? He would go to these places and say, he will not divide us, he will not divide us. And people would show up, and they would show up with like Kekistan shirts on with Pepe the Frog. They would wear Make America Great Again hats on. And they weren't even necessarily Trump supporters. They were just people trying to have fun, right? They're trying to fuck with people, right? So what they did was Shia LaBeouf put up a flag in the middle of nowhere that said he will not divide us, and then had a live stream where you could go and look at the flag as it's waving in the breeze, right? They found the fucking flag. They found out where it was. And the way they found it was genius. And it's all detailed in this Radiolab. The fact they took it down is actually making me mad.
Why would they? I don't
Because
get
what these
that.
guys did was awesome. All right. First of all, it was brilliant. They found social media posts that showed that people had met Shia LaBeouf in some place. Is that how you say his fucking name? LaBeouf. LaBeouf. Yeah. They found out that they had met him in some weird place in Tennessee. So they triangulated where he would be, right? So then what they did was they went around. They had one of their members go around with a car and beep the horn so they could hear the horn on the camera. And once they heard the horn on camera, then they knew he was there, or then they knew the flag was there. So then they found out where it is by stars. They looked at the fucking stars, and they figured out where the area is. Because when it's nighttime, you can see the stars on the live feed, and they figured out what constellation it was. They went to the fucking flag, took it down, put a Make America Great Again hat on and a Pepe the Frog thing up there, and the guy walks up to the camera and goes, "Fuck Shia LaBeouf."
I love it.
And that's the end of it.
So great.
The fact that Radiolab took that down, that's depressing. Why did they do that? Did they not understand what's happening here?
Here's
This
one
is
of
fun.
the ways how they did it. So like when he was moving around, they found the log cabin he was in, and they're like, let's look for rental cabins that match the wood pattern.
There are
And
around
just-
3,000 rental caverns in Lapland. We just need to match the wood patterns. Easy enough.
and then they just spend time doing it. And
love
find
shit
it.
like
These
this.
guys are animals. I fucking love this. I don't understand why they were mad.
Here's how they did it too.
But this is what I understand. I don't understand why Radiolab would take that down. Why don't you Google
I'll
that?
show you. I'll
Why
pull that
did
up.
Radiolab take down the Twitter truth or truth trolls, whatever the fuck it was?
So you listen to radio. I've never
All the
listened to
time.
Radio
Love
Lab.
it.
What is it?
It's an amazing podcast. It's really good.
Like a news or?
It's one of my favorite podcasts. They have all kinds of crazy shit on. I mean, they have stuff on all sorts of different. Radiolab
this?
removes its Truth Trolls episode from podcast feed.
Yeah, this was. I was trying to find the actual.
Does it say why?
Yeah, they posted a reason why, and this isn't theirs. Hold on a second.
Well, what? But it's saying that they removed it, right?
That was someone wrote an article.
Well, obviously they removed it. Oh, editorial. Radiolab has decided to take down this episode. Some listeners called us out saying that in telling the Capture the Flag story in the way that we did, we essentially condone some pretty despicable ideology and behavior. Oh, come on. To all the listeners who felt that way and everyone else, please know that we hear you and that we take these criticisms to heart. I feel awful that the things we said could be interpreted that way. That's on us. It was certainly not our intention, and we apologize. Come on, folks. You guys are missing the humor of this. These aren't despicable people. They are saying things that are ridiculous because it's funny. Like, there's a lot of people that say a lot of fucked up shit online. Do they actually mean this stuff, or are they saying it because they are anonymous and because it's fun to say fucked up things online that you're not supposed to say? I would say the latter. I think there's a bunch of people that are really legitimately fucked up online. There's a bunch of other people that think it's fun because they're stuck at some goddamn soul-sucking job in some fucking cubicle somewhere, and they have access to the internet. And so they go on message boards and they fuck around and they troll this asshole. Shia LaBeouf is a dum-dum, all right? He's a fucking plagiarist. I mean, this guy's been busted for plagiarizing like giant chunks of other people's work, right? Like, what did he get busted for plagiarizing?
He's in jail every couple weeks for being an asshole and being drunk and like
Well, he's
yelling
a silly
at people.
fool.
Yeah.
I think that gig, being a fucking movie star, is insane. I think it's insanely pressure-filled. It's way harder than what we do in terms of like dealing with all the people that like you and managing all the relationships and brief history of Shia LaBeouf copying the work of others. Yeah, it's like a ton of shit. What does it say? He plagiarized an apology to Alec Baldwin. In 2013, he abruptly quit what would have been his first Broadway show, Orphans, due to creative differences. That is, he couldn't get along with Alec Baldwin, according to reports. LaBeouf decided the best way to explain his departure would be to tweet out a photo of his email apology to the cast and Baldwin by name. Unfortunately, parts of the prose sample, a man owns up, ... a man ellipsis, a man grasps his mistakes, was ripped off verbatim from a 2009 Esquire article titled, "What is a Man?" People, including the article's author, noticed,
Barf.
Yeah, that's not that bad, but it is. He plagiarized a bunch of shit. He plagiarized his directorial debut. His short film, HowardCantor.com, premiered in the 2012 Cannes Film Festival until it was posted online December 16th, 2013, that viewers began to notice that the film was almost an exact adaptation of a graphic novel, that's the one, by Daniel Clowes, best known for Ghost World. Clowes told BuzzFeed, which brought much of this story to public light. The first I ever heard of the film was the morning when someone sent me a link. I've never spoken or met Mr. LaBeouf. I've never seen even one of his films that I can recall, and I was shocked, to say the least, when I saw that he took the script and even many of the visuals from a very personal story I did 6 or 7 years ago and passed it off as his own work. Yeah.
Wow.
I actually can't imagine what was going through his mind. He then apologized for plagiarism by plagiarizing a Yahoo Answers post from 4 years ago.
My God.
He says copying isn't particularly creative work. Being inspired by someone else's idea to produce something new and different is creative work. Huh. Well, that's not totally copying what he said from the Yahoo's answers, but it's pretty goddamn close. Whatever. He's obviously got mental issues. And whether they're real or whether he's trolling or whether he's having a psychological meltdown because of all the pressure of being an actor. There's a shitload of pressure in being in Transformers.
Fucking actors, man.
They're so gross.
Ugh.
Some of them are great. Don't get me wrong. I met a lot of cool actors. A lot. But I would say 10% of them are useless. That's a big number. That's a big number. I would say 3% of comedians are useless. Am I being generous?
Yeah, with the open micers. Well,
you can't count those.
Not the open micers.
Professionals.
All right, cool. Professionals, yeah, 3%.
3%.
Maybe 5.
3% are just loopy. But at the Comedy Store, it's even less. Like paid regulars at the Comedy Store, I would say it's less than 1%.
Oh, yeah. That's totally different. Because when you're including all comedians, and you're talking about like the cruise ship comedians, and then you're like comedy store comedian, or I mean, comedy class comedians, flappers, the whole establishment.
Yeah, the broad spectrum of humans that tell jokes on stage.
Yeah.
I ran into a buddy of mine who used to work on Fear Factor, and he's now doing stand-up in Burlington, Vermont. He didn't start until he was in his 40s.
Wow.
Yeah, he just had a fucking dream. I've got a dream. I've got a dream. And he just decided to start doing stand-up comedy in his 40s.
Dean Del Rey started at a really young age. I think
age.
Like 38 or something like that.
I want to say Dean was in his 40s as well.
Yeah.
Because Dean's in his 50s now.
Yeah.
I don't think he's been doing comedy for 10 years.
No, he hasn't. No,
yeah,
I started open mics with him, or like 7 years ago, maybe.
He's pretty fucking funny now, man. I'll tell you what, Dean had a set the other night at the Improv. He made me laugh hard. He had some funny jokes. I don't want to say what the bit about, but it was about people who don't wear condoms. It was fucking really well written.
He goes on stage more than anyone I know. He actually writes down each time he goes on stage. If he doesn't go up 2 or 3 times a night, he freaks out. Like he doesn't date. He doesn't have any relationships. He just does stand up 100%.
Yeah, what's that about? He doesn't date.
I don't know, man.
That seems like not a good time.
He every time I ask him about it, he's always just like, cause I don't want it to interrupt with my comedy. He's so focused on comedy.
Why does he date a comedian?
It's probably a bad idea.
Doesn't always go bad. Look at Tom and Christina.
And Natasha Leggero is a good one.
Yeah, another. She just fucking swings monkey bars from one comedian to the next.
I think she's pregnant now.
No way.
Yeah, she was
That's
on.
Awesome.
That or it was a joke. She was on Fallon.
Probably a joke.
I don't think so. I think she actually.
Do you think Moshe Kasher is fertile?
Yeah. He's got that.
He's got that good juice.
He's got
sperm.
that good juice. I like
that
Moshe.
good juice. Yeah, good. They would be great parents. They're fucking smart as shit. Reveals the worst parts of being pregnant in 2017. Oh, she is pregnant.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she has a nice little belly going on.
That's interesting because she was kind of cranky last time I saw her at the Comedy Store. That makes sense.
She didn't look pregnant though because she had so many like things on, I guess.
Yeah, well, she's well dressed.
Yeah.
She's that's interesting. There, if you had to pick like the funniest comedian couples, their top 3. It's like Rich Voss and Bonnie McFarlane are up there. I think I got to give the fucking title to the mommies. I give the title to Tom and Christina.
Absolutely.
I think they're number one as far as funniest couple. But Moshe and Natasha are right up there. They're both legit, real, top flight stand-ups. And they actually get along somehow.
They're also the water champs. I don't know if
Tom and Christina,
water
they're the water
competition.
champ.
Win
But
that.
they have a champ. They have like real competition with each other to see who's the water
They're
champ.
having the personality champ contest too amongst themselves.
Well, Tom is in the throes of our yoga challenge, and he's lost a shitload of weight. Christine was just ranting about it, like how great he looks.
He looks awesome.
Dude, that fucking guy, when we did that weight loss challenge, he lost like 40-something pounds and then just ran with it. Never let up. Never went back to his old ways of eating and just stayed fit, worked out constantly. Yeah, and he looks great. Like, there was a picture of him the other day that somebody put up on Instagram, and I was like, Jesus Christ, like, look at him. He's skinny.
He's got to go get all new pictures again because he doesn't look the same.
Well, Bert was talking about that, like his mostly stories photo. He's got this big old moon face, and now you look
Shovel
at him,
face.
and he's all fucking thin and sexy. Well, we gotta wrap this up, dude. I gotta abbreviate this one and get this out of here quicker than most.
Can I recommend a show for you?
Please do.
There's a show that I can't get enough. It's called Good Mythical Morning. Have you ever watched this, Jamie? So it's these two guys, and it's really interesting how they filmed it because it's for all, like, kids love it and adults love it.
I know
and
they are.
And they're these two guys, and every day they do this show, and it's only like maybe 15 minutes long, but every day it's something different. Like, we're going to taste test 10 hamburgers, and we're going to figure out which one it is. Or we're going to see if we're going to play this game where one thing is cow eyeballs, and the other thing is gummy cow eyeballs, and whoever loses has to eat the cow eyeballs. And it's like they take parts of Fear Factor, they take parts of just like interesting things, like we're going to taste expired food from 40 years ago, and they're constantly eating stuff every day. Like,
They're gonna die.
it's really great. I highly recommend it. It's called Good Mythical Morning. They also have a podcast called Ear Biscuits.
Rhett and Link are the guys'
Yeah,
names. They're
Rhett
pretty
and Link.
popular.
Did
on
you do
YouTube.
hot ones? Did you eat?
I did a form of Hot Ones. It was one of his off shows when in between seasons. Like, me and him went to the hottest chicken place in Los Angeles.
What's the hottest chicken place?
Howlin' Ray's, and it's
it good?
it's the most amazing chicken ever.
Where's it at?
Howlin' Ray.
Howlin' Ray.
Howlin' Ray's downtown.
Howlin' Ray's.
You should. That's
Looks
the
like
episode.
Talking to his brother.
But Howlin' Ray's is Nashville Hot Chicken, and so they have like the hottest chicken, and they also have chicken that's not on the menu. So we ate the 3 hottest chicken and the one that's not on the menu, me and him.
Why isn't it on the menu?
Because it's too hot. Like we had to sign papers. Like it's you're not supposed to eat it. Like,
What?
Yeah, it's
What
that.
happens?
Well, you should watch the episode, but pretty much.
Are you gonna leave me with a cliffhanger?
Yeah, but
Son of
after
a
we did it,
bitch.
Sean says that was hotter than anything we've ever done on Hot Ones.
Really?
And he left immediately, went to his hotel room. Me and him, I went to my house. 45 minutes, I'm just crawling, like laying there, like crying. I fall asleep. I wake up. I'm shitting blood. Like it's 24 hours of hell. And like
Really?
me and him, like I wrote Sean, like, are you in the same boat? And he's like, yeah, I'm dying, dude. Like,
Is it that bad?
it was that bad. So if you go to Howlin' Ray's, I recommend getting the mild or medium hot, but do not get the hottest, and don't ask for the hidden menu item hot because it's like horrible unless you want to ruin your life.
But did when it was over, did you feel good? Sort of like a near-death experience?
No, I felt like I was hallucinating.
Hallucinating?
Jesus Christ! I mean, I was eating paper towels at parts just because
Just to calm
it was too
the
hot.
oils
Yeah.
on your face. Did you try milk?
No, we had ice cream afterwards that we shared.
That's supposed
but-
to help, right?
Yeah, ice cream kind of helps, but getting the oil like that. My idea was get the oil out of my mouth because it was my lips were getting
So
inflamed.
what
and
is the
stuff.
pepper that they use? Is it like Carolina Reaper?
It was Carolina
or-
Rita, ghost pepper. It had a bunch of them in there.
Jesus Christ! So you ate like ghost peppers?
Yeah, and I ate all of it. was horrible, dude.
There's a chip now you can buy. I think it's $4.99. It's one chip that's supposedly the hottest chip you can eat, and it's got. I think it's made with like 2 or 3 of those ghost peppers or some shit like that.
A chip?
One chip.
What's wrong with people?
One of the funniest episodes of Good Mythical Morning is watch them eat the hottest pepper in the world, and you'll see what I'm talking about. There, it's a great
All
show.
right. We'll be back tomorrow with the winner of the Moab 240, Courtney Dowalter. She ran 238 miles, and she beat everybody by like almost a marathon length, right? Didn't she beat them like?
I think so.
I think she was 20 plus miles ahead of the second place dude.
Wow. Can I promote a show real quick?
Yeah.
November 8th, I'm going to be at Indianapolis at Morty's. November 9th.
Good spot.
Yeah.
Morty's is a good spot.
Amazing. And then November 9th, I'll be at the Funny Bone hometown in Columbus, Ohio. And November 10th, I'll be in
Another good
Pittsburgh at the new arcade theater that just opened up. So
Powerful 3-block comedy shows. All right, and people, where they get tickets for that?
DeathSquad.tv.
Powerful. Okay, we will be back tomorrow again, like I said, with Courtney Dowalter, and then Adam Greentree. We got Tom DeLonge from Blink 182, the dude who is like somehow or another communicating with aliens, and he's doing some stuff with like spaceships and shit. I'm sure he'll tell us. And then the great Matt Flavor will be here on Friday. We're kicking off the new studio with a bang. This is the official hard launch week, you fucks. We love you guys. Thank you. Bye.